Okay, and I now have Kylie Jude's excerpt here. Let me take a look here. I have Over the River and Through the Woods. Let me see here. Through the Woods, plural, by Kylie Jude. And this is a short excerpt here. Let me just confirm I'm on the... Okay. And I'll go ahead and read a little bit here as a sample. It is 7:30 on New Year's Eve, and yeah, I'm working. Okay. To Grandmother's house we go, Chelsea sang as they traveled through moving shadows and fading light. Then her smile faded. 7 years, she exclaimed with awe as the road turned to dirt beneath the wheels. Trees sprung up high above them like impenetrable emerald walls as they made their way across the old wooden bridge and deeper into the woods. Crap! Lost internet. Charlotte slammed her cell phone down onto her lap and glared out the window. To her, the trees looked like prison bars, blocking the rest of the world out. And the deeper they traveled into those woods, the more imprisoned she felt. No internet out here, remember? Her mother reminded her. No service either, but I think it'll be good for you to take a break from it. And Grandma has a phone that you can use if you need to call me. Chelsea made the final turn onto a lawn and windy dirt road, and suddenly her expression grew dark. Speaking of which, if you need me, I mean really need me, don't hesitate to call. You hear me? Yeah, Mom, I'll be fine, Charlotte sighed. I mean it, Chelsea pushed on. Grandma can get a little cranky sometimes. I think she's getting Alzheimer's. Just watch her hair. It changes colors with her mood. Promise me you'll call if you need me, okay? It won't be too far away that I can't come to you. You hear me? Charlotte turned to Chelsea as if she hadn't been listening. Oh, yeah, Mom, I promise. And if she's as bad as you say, why are you leaving me alone with her anyway? I don't have anywhere else to take you. You can't come to the convention with me since it's employees only. And besides, it's been 7 years and it will be good for you to spend some time together. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll all have some of Grandma's famous strawberry tea together. She smiled. And who knows? I might stay longer if I end up with a job here. Great, Charlotte grumbled sarcastically, crossing her arms. She was 16 and hadn't seen her grandmother since she was 9. All she wanted to do was hang out with her friends back home. She didn't even want to spend the weekend away from them, much less the rest of her teenage years. Listen, honey, I know it's rough, but we can't afford to send her to a home yet. And if her mind is as bad as I think it is, someone will need to look after her. Chelsea flipped the turn signal on as she turned into the driveway, even though there were no cars in sight. So in addition to getting reacquainted, your job is to evaluate just how bad she is, whether she needs to be looked after or not. Can you do that? Sure, fine. Charlotte reluctantly agreed as she watched her grandmother's house fade into view. It was a cute little cabin with brown walls and green shutters, but what really caught her attention was the garden in front of the house. The flowers and plants seemed to have taken over since they were last there 7 years ago. Green mixed with vibrant purples and reds as the colors trailed the walkway, hanging over it like evergreen trees. Oh, and she said she would need help with the garden, Chelsea remembered as she parked the car. I could definitely see what she meant now. She leaned forward a bit, her dark eyes gazing through the windshield and up at the tall greenery. You might want to wait until tomorrow so I can help too. Remember, call me if you need me. She turned to Charlotte to make sure she heard her. I will. All right, ready? Chelsea painted on a smile. Ready as I'll ever be, Charlotte sighed, and they got out of the car, heading to the trunk to get her backpack. As she flung it on her shoulder, she caught a glimpse of her grandmother coming out to greet them. She was 72, but she didn't look that old. Her light gray hair was pulled back into a loose bun, and a goofy smile was plastered to her pale face. My babies! She squealed excitedly as she reached the end of the walkway, throwing her arms out for a hug. They approached her and embraced her simultaneously. Good to see you, Mother, Chelsea said calmly. It's been far too long. Oh, look how little Charlie's grown. Abby cupped her granddaughter's face in her hands, dark eyes looking up and down. How old are you now, 12, 13? I'm 16, she clarified with a slight smirk. What? She threw her hands from Charlotte's face and into the air in shock. It has been a long time. How dare you leave an old woman alone so long? She pouted at Chelsea. Sorry, Mother. Work's kept me so busy, but luckily we have a convention nearby this year, so I figured we'd come see you. Well, I'm glad you did, Abby smiled. Speaking of the convention, I'd better get going. My first conference starts at 3 and She glanced down at her watch and then her eyes widened. It's almost 2. I hate to run, but I'd better get off if I'm going to make it in time. She hugged her mother again, then grabbed Charlotte's hand and squeezed it before heading back to the car. Wish me luck, she called over her shoulder. Good luck, they replied in unison, and soon with a roar of an engine and a wave of dust, Chelsea was gone. Well, come in, I'll show you around, Abby exclaimed, turning to head down the stone walkway. Charlotte followed behind, dodging flowers and thorns as she went. Now, I know you've been here before, but it's been quite a while and you might have forgotten where everything is. They stepped through the doorway and into the dimly lit kitchen. Close that door behind you, Charlie. Don't want any bears coming in. Charlotte raised an eyebrow in amusement and closed the door. It's actually Charlotte? She corrected her as nicely as possible. Oh, of course it is. But you know me, I love my nicknames. They continued into a little hallway. Now on the left is the bathroom. I'll try not to fight you too much for it, she joked, smiling back at Charlotte as she walked. And this door to the right is my bedroom, and up here on the left is where you'll be sleeping. Remember this room? She asked as she opened the door and turned the light on. Memories flooded Charlotte's mind as her eyes grazed the old dolls and teddy bears that she played with when she was young. Haven't changed a thing, Abby proclaimed with an exuberant smile. Well, except for the windows. Had to put some bars up on them after your grandfather passed. Didn't want any intruder getting in without him here to protect me. Her tone darkened for a moment, but she soon perked back up. Go ahead and set your bag in there, and then we can eat supper. I'm sure you're finished after that long trip. Thanks, Gran, Charlotte smiled, but her eyes were darting over and over to the door at the end of the hall. And what's behind that door again? She gestured to it, and Abby turned toward it briefly, then back to her. Oh, there's nothing there you need to worry about your pretty little head about, she replied, patting her granddaughter on top of the head. Just old junk. Stays locked most of the time. I don't even think I have a key anymore. Her voice was whimsical, but her eyes were more shifty than usual. Anyway, I'll get you situated, and we'll meet in the kitchen. Okay, so this was a reading of Over the River and Through the Woods by Kylie Jude, and it is available on Amazon. So thank you very much for tuning in, and I will be bringing you more readings later tonight. Thank you.